Okay. Hey, Keith, welcome. So, our class today, I don't usually do a peak pose flow, but today's is a peak pose flow. And I'm going to just briefly share my screen to show you what today's peak pose is with a little bit of a caveat. So, this will just be a couple seconds. So, today's peak pose, we're working towards a bird of paradise, which is, you see a million iterations on my Google here. You also see my terrible habit of having 3 million tabs open. Don't judge me. So this is Bird of Paradise, and now that you've seen that, you can see that there's like an arm bind going underneath a leg. They're pulling a leg up in the air. So now that you've seen that, kind of forget that image. um, I have a I have a tough relationship with Bird of Paradise, and so I wanted to use today as a bit of a lab to critically assess some of these poses that rely on really crazy ranges of motion and often if we did a deep analysis of a lot of those photos that were just pulled up on the screen, like there's a lot of compensation happening that can lead to injury. So today's goal is to reframe Bird of Paradise and find a version that feels more accessible, more functional, and not be so tied to the image of the pose as it's traditionally practiced. So big lofty goals, but I thought it would be, it's always a good challenge to work with something that maybe you don't practice all the time or you don't necessarily love to death. And that's our goal today. That being said, we'll still have fun and we're not going to do anything too crazy. Don't worry. I would never get you guys injured. So with that, we'll get started just in a seated position. And I'll actually do this up here at the camera today. We're going to practice a little bit of tapping just to wake up the back of the neck, the skull, and then some of the collarbone area. And tapping something I've been seeing from some interesting physical therapy people I follow recently, and it basically is just using vibrations to try to reset some of our structures up here. So you'll use just kind of your fingers cupped like this and take them to the base of the skull where you feel those suboccipital condyles, they kind of jut out, and just tap, tap, tap there. You're not doing it too forcefully, but really think about almost like a bird tapping on a window gently or something. Just starting to get some vibrations in that area. And as you're doing the back of the skull, you can start to tuck the chin towards the throat. And they're tapping all along the ridge down there. And then you can do down the center of the neck a little bit, imagining where the spine is down the vertebrae. And then we'll come back up towards the skull and tap out down towards the ears. And then just bring your hands to the clavicle. So that's these bony parts up here. And we'll tap there right at the inner borders of your clavicle. And then take it all the way out to the shoulders. I'm actually going to do one at a time. So I'm going to use my right hand to tap on my left side. It's an easier angle for me, but by all means, do what feels good to you. And you can follow along the bone. It will go all the way out to the edge of the shoulder there. And then if you did one side, we can switch to the other side. Harder to tap with my left hand. I'm noticing my dominance here. And then we'll let that tapping go when you feel you've done it evenly on both sides. And just interlace the fingers behind the head and lean the skull back in space. Feeling some length in the back of the neck, maybe a little bit of hum of that tapping. Hum meaning like you can kind of still sense it in your skin and your nerves. And then we'll take it to our backs on the mat. I'm going to quick lock our Zoom room here. And we'll bring the feet on the mat, knees up towards the ceiling. Finding your back on the floor and trying to get that back of the skull onto the mat as well. We'll lengthen the tailbone towards the heels, lift those glutes, bringing the pelvis into a low bridge here. Really feeling the feet anchor into the floor. So we're working towards that reframed Bird of Paradise today. It's going to require a lot of action in the hips. So we want to get a nice neutral pelvis, wake those glutes up. right from our start here. And we'll bring the right knee, if it feels okay, we'll weight into the left leg, bring that right knee over the hip, flexing at the hip. You can even put your fingers in the hip crease. You'll feel in response here that the left glute is gonna really wake up, and you'll probably feel some activity in the hamstring as well. Of course, if this doesn't feel good, you put that foot down. Our next option is to bring the left hand to the top of the right thigh, and we push the thigh and hand towards each other. Nothing's gonna move, but you're getting an even bigger energetic zap into that left glute. Really feeling it here. Pull the front ribs into the back body. And then we'll let the hand go. You can lower the right foot. If you took that lifted knee option, we'll switch sides. So weeding into this right foot. Really, you could even tap the glute here, using that little tapping motion to wake that up as well. Bringing that left knee over the hip. And feeling that extra demand cross body here. So our anchored leg is going to need to be super awake to support the lifted leg. And that shows up as well in our vertebrae paradise. If you want to take this option, right hand comes to the top of the left thigh. We press the hand and thigh towards each other. Nothing moves. So this is a static, isometric wake up for those muscles there. And feel that right glute respond. Trying to keep a nice even pelvis as we do this. And then the left foot lowers will stay up just briefly in this two-legged bridge. Press the palms up to the ceiling, and we pull back on the right fingers with the left hand. Opening the wrist here. Feeling those glutes now that we've done like level up. When we're in this more stable two-footed position, they might feel a little bit more ready to wake up. And then we'll switch wrists, so pressing the left palm up to the ceiling, we pull back with the right fingers. Exhale there. And we'll slowly lower through the spine. Moving straight into our abdominals today. Similar action in our core work with the pressing into the thigh, it'll come back into play. As always, if you don't like a version I'm giving or an option I'm giving, you don't take it. We'll interlace the hands behind the head and the elbows come up to the ceiling. Knees come over the hips with bent knees, so kind of a 90-degree angle, but you can always extend them a bit more. We'll inhale here. Exhale, use the ribs as your motor, pulling down in the front body to lift head and shoulder blades up. Pause at the top. And then inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Pull down in the front body. This time we add a twist to the left. So moving from the center of the ribs, twisting just an inch or two over to the left. Adding on a second layer here, you can extend the right leg at about 70 degrees, 60 degrees. Knee comes back in, move back to neutral, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Twisting from our center, over to the right this time. Pause there, feeling this right oblique wake up for us. And then we'll extend the left leg out. Not at a 45, we're not going too low, but we want to keep the sacrum, the back of the pelvis on the floor. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. Adding on here, exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. We twist to the left. Option to extend the right leg. Next option, bring the right hand on top of the left thigh. Press thigh and hand together. Scoop the tailbone up slightly. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. That hand returns to the back of the head. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Turning right, twisting right rather. Left leg extends, option. Next option, left hand to right thigh. Pressing into the thigh, thigh responds. Tailbone lifts. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. My breathing's getting my speaking is getting hard here. We have one more add-on. You stop where it feels good, so don't feel obligated. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. Twisting left. Right leg extends. Options. Right hand to thigh. Option, externally rotate left thigh as you're pressing thigh into hand. Back to neutral. Inhale, lower. Just one more side here. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Twisting right. Left leg extends. Left hand to right thigh. Option to externally rotate the right thigh, keeping that pressure. Back to neutral. Oh, inhale. Bring those knees in towards you. Oh, take a big breath and let it go through the mouth. We'll extend the left leg long, pull that right knee and thigh towards you to some degree. And try to feel like your hip flexors, the muscles at the front of the hip, are doing this action more than your hands. So we're not squeezing passively in, but we're trying to actively use those hip flexors. We'll twist this over to the left. So tipping over on our left side, you can let the right toes land, keeping that knee slightly off the floor. So it just gives you a little post here. Reaching that right arm out to the right. Feel this extension through the thoracic spine, continuing to lengthen the tailbone towards the front of the mat. Big inhale, exhale, release. And we'll draw that right thigh back, coming onto our backs. We'll switch sides. So first draw the left knee towards you to some degree. Right leg extends down to the floor. Feel those left hip flexors, the muscles at the front of the hip. Pull that leg in more than just squeezing with your hands. So it's a real muscular engagement. And then we tip over to the right side. So once you reach a position where you're on the right side, you can always lower the left toes, keeping that knee elevated slightly. Lengthen that tailbone as the left arm reaches out to the left. Big inhale and exhale. My foot's sliding, if you saw that. And we'll come back onto our back, straightening the left knee to a neutral position. Right knee comes up to meet it. And we'll use these legs as a little traction to pull us up and around, coming into our quadruped or all fours. I need to take this long sleeve off, just give me a moment. So you're lining up those wrists right under the shoulders, knees right under the hip joint. Pausing here, feeling your strong lifted core that we just worked on. Now imagine you could squeeze your sits bones, which are at the base of the pelvis, in towards the middle, towards each other. And then keep that energy in the left leg as the right leg lifts in a bent position, almost like the foot was pressing towards the ceiling. We'll weight into the right hand nice and solidly. Nothing else moves as the left arm floats to goalpost. So making a 90-degree angle from the shoulder. Big inhale. Exhale, press the goalpost and your foot up to the ceiling. Your trunk's not going to move at all. So big glute work and big scapula muscle work. And release. Inhale, exhale, press it up. And release. Last time here, exhale, press it up towards the ceiling. We'll reach this left arm behind us so that the back of the hand meets the sacrum. Check in with your pelvis. See if it's tipped at all. Keep drawing the left scapula onto the back. And then left hand lands, right knee lands. Pause in the middle here. Big inhale. Squeeze those sits bones towards the midline. Left leg extends, stays bent, but we lift that left leg up, pressing left foot up towards the ceiling. Neutral pelvis there. Weight into the left arm, and we come to goalpost with the right arm. So we've got crazy cross-body work happening, both in our base and in our working leg and arm. Inhale here. Exhale, push that left foot up. Goalpost presses up towards the ceiling. Draw that right scapula onto the back. And release. And we pulse them up. Not a ton, but you'll feel it. And release. And press it up. Pause at the top. Right hand flips over down towards the sacrum. Hand comes to the back of the pelvis, and we draw the right scapula onto the back. Right hand lowers, left knee lowers. Tuck the toes here. We'll press into the hands, lift those knees, and walk ourselves to the top of the mat. Bending at the top here. Inhale, rise, Tadasana, mountain pose. Feeling tailbone lengthening towards the floor here, and the strength in your feet radiating out through the tips of your fingers. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant, right foot steps back. Lower the knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift for our half kneel. Right glute turns on, remembering the feeling of our one-legged bridge. Same position, we're just on our feet now. Hands plant in front of the foot, step back to plank. Glutes squeeze at the top. Lower the knees. Keep the chest open as we lower to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Pulling the chest forward as the palms pull back. And exhale, lift into down dog. Right foot steps forward, lower the left knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. Half kneel. Cross body connection here between right foot and left glute. Hands plant in front of the foot, step the left foot forward. Bend knee forward, fold, exhale. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Left foot steps back, lower the right knee, top of the foot. Inhale, rise, half kneel. This time, exhale, hands come to your sides. And we keep our lift as we roll our shoulders back one at a time. So alternating right and left here. Getting some juice going in that upper back. Simultaneously feeling the skull pull onto the spine so it might move back in space. Hands plant in front of the foot, step back for plank. Feeling that chest fall just slightly between the hands. Knees lower, keep that chest open as we lower to the floor. Exhale. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, toes tuck. Left foot steps forward, lower the right knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. And exhale, hands come down by the sides. We continue this shoulder roll. Already hopefully feeling a bit more fluid. And hands plant in front of the left foot. Step the right foot forward, exhale. Bent knee forward, fold. Long spine as we inhale, rise to Tadasana. Moving to our first sequence, exhale. Hinge at the hips. You can start the playlist now. I forgot to say, but you can start the playlist. Right foot steps back, lower the knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. Low lunge, half kneel here. Hands come to goalposts, and we flatten the forearms so it's parallel with the floor. Make fists with your hands here. Exhale, pull the scapula towards the spine. Rib cage doesn't move. And release. So what's easy is to let the ribs go and think that we're pulling. But really, we'll just aggravate the upper back. So we want to stay stable and really make the rhomboids work to pull those shoulder blades in. And now we'll add a layer. So as we pull back here, rotate the fists down towards the floor. Internal rotation. This is hard. And release. And we go parallel to the floor, pull back. Lower those fists towards the floor. And return to parallel. Pull it back. This time, lower the fist towards the floor. And then let the hands come, interlace at the sacrum, the back of the pelvis. Elbows stay bent. We keep the ribs contained and pull the scapula back so we're opening up the chest. Tuck the right toes. We'll weight into the left foot even more, shift forward, come into a tilted crescent, right knee lifts off the mat. Keeping exact same orientation in the torso as we lean on the diagonal here. Adding a rock back and forth. Whoa, careful. It's easy to lose your midline here. Imagine you're squeezing your feet towards each other to prevent what I did, which is roll towards the pinky, and you start to feel unstable. But we just push back and forth through the right toes. Nothing else moves. Just waking up that back chain. 2 more. Pause in neutral. Right hand lands under the shoulder, right knee comes under the hip, shins on the floor. Modify side plank, that left leg reaches back in space. Left hand comes on the side of the ribs, just under the armpit, and feel the energy of your muscles there. So you want to feel them waking up under that, or it's like the side of the scapula there. You'll do that by pulling the right hand back towards the right knee, energetically. Option here to lift the left leg once you feel like you have a strong base. Exhale, we'll all draw the, flex at the left hip, drawing that left knee up a bit, and push the leg back. Squeeze that right glute to keep you stable in your base. Left knee pulls up, and push back. We're gonna add on here. Left knee pulls up, we're flexing at that hip, and then externally rotate when the knee comes forward. So the knee moves up towards the ceiling, and press it back. Squeeze that right glute. Exhale, left knee pulls up. Externally rotate. This time we lower the left foot just so it's in line with the right knee. Right hand walks over to the right side, outside of the right leg, and we side bend right. Lengthen that tailbone towards the floor by squeezing the glutes here. Big inhale, feeling a nice side body stretch. Exhale, we wind up to vertical, left arm reaching left. And exhale, warrior variation arms. Left forearm to left thigh, right arm is reaching over the ear. And we're pressing through this right front hip point. Big inhale and exhale. This is my favorite side body stretch. Oh, really feel some awesome opening down into the hip as well. Inhale, we'll come to vertical. Plant those hands for plank. Step the left foot back, right foot back. We're in our plank. We're gonna do some tough stuff, but it will be a brief moment. We're in it together. Exhale, right knee comes towards the right tricep. Step it back. Exhale, left knee towards left tricep. Nothing else moves. Step it back. If that's too much, you do it on your knees. Right knee towards that arm. Step it back. Left knee towards the arm. Step it back. 2 more. Right knee. Step it back. Squeeze your glutes. Left knee. Step it back and lower the knees. Pause. Feel an open chest. Exhale, lower. Goal post those arms. Squeeze the glutes. Anchor your pubic bone here. Inhale, goal post. Pulling the scapula towards the spine. Pausing at the top here. Feeling a lift in the low abdominals. And then exhale, hands plant, tuck the toes, lift into your down dog. Walk the feet in a touch. Take a big inhale. Exhale. And with the same energy as we just did in plank, we'll step the left foot forward about 3/4 of the way. Hands don't pick up, so we keep them on the floor. Shift to a standing L, so that right leg flies behind you. Draw the sits bones towards your midline. And we're gonna move this right leg a bit. So if this is too much, you can always lift up onto the fingertips, put a prop under your hands, bend the left knee nice and generously. Right toes stay facing the floor, right leg goes out to the right, abduction. Back through center, and then bend the knee, internally rotate the hip. So right knee comes towards the back of the left leg, and extend right back. We go out to the right. Oh, I got a nice hip crack. Bend that knee, internal rotation. Extend it back, one more. Out to the right. Bend that knee, internally rotate. And then extend the leg back, and we'll just step it down next to the left. You can adjust for a moment if you need. Bend those knees, find a long spine. Inhale, rise, Tadasana. Power, woo. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Left foot steps back, lower that knee, top of the foot. Inhale, lift. Arms come to goalpost, elbows out from the shoulder, and then flatten the forearms parallel to the floor. We make fists. Exhale, pull the scapula towards the spine, shoulder blades towards the spine, and release. We'll do just a couple like this, opening the chest, using strength in the back. And now we'll add on. We pull back and rotate the fist towards the floor. Back to neutral, scapula in a neutral place. Exhale, pull, rotate towards the floor. Might feel a bit easier this time, it does for me. Pull it back, rotate towards the floor. And this time we interlace the hands at the sacrum, keep the length in the trunk, opening in this chest, beautiful here. Shifting weight forward, tuck the left toes, tilted crescent. Press into that right foot, left knee lifts. Squeezing your glutes here, creasing in the right hip. Pushing through the left toes, feeling a sense of your midline. We'll push through the ball of the foot of the big toe, rocking forward and back. Two more. Pause in neutral. Left hand comes under the shoulder. Left knee comes under the hip, shin is down, and we move towards a side, modified side plank. Check in, use your right hand on the side of the rib cage, get those muscles awake. Option to fly the right leg. Keep waking up the left glute here, your base glute. Arm can fly up. Exhale, flexing at the right hip, pulling the right thigh forward. Extend it back. Exhale, flex. Right thigh forward. Extend it back. Exhale, flex it. This time we rotate at the top. External rotation in the hip, knee goes on an upper diagonal. And press it back. One more. Exhale. Knee forward. Externally rotate, pause. And then lower the right foot in line with the left leg. And we walk the left hand out to the left. Side bend left, I'm at my window as I always am. But you reach that right arm over the ear. Keep pressing through the front of the left hip using the left glute. Big inhale. And then exhale, return through vertical, press off those left fingers. Exhale, right forearm to right thigh. We reach the left arm over to the right. Lateral flexion towards this leg that's out to the side. Big inhale. And exhale. One more, just like that. Big inhale. As you exhale, contain the front ribs, pulling them into the back body. You might feel even more in the front of the hip. And we rise through vertical, hands plant, moving to plank. Right foot steps back, left foot steps back. Remember those knees can lower. Here we go, just 6, we got it. Left knee towards the left arm, step it back. Right knee towards the right arm, step it back. Left knee towards left, halfway. Right knee. Step it back, just 2 more, we're almost there. Lower those knees if you need. Last time, right knee. Step it back. Lower those knees. Exhale, lower to the floor. Sweet glory. Goalpost those arms. Big inhale. As we anchor the pubic bone down, we lift upper body, goalpost, making sure they're parallel with the floor. Exhale, hands plant under the shoulders. Tuck the toes, lift into your down dog. Walk those feet in a bit, take a big inhale. And exhale. Just like we did in plank, keep these hands anchored. We pull the right foot forward 3/4 of the way, standing L, shifting that weight into this tripod of the right leg and the two arms. Pausing here first. Remembering you can lift onto the fingers, put something under the hands. That's going to take a little load off of this right hammy. There's no shame in doing that. That's like such a positive thing for your body, for your practice. Never let someone tell you that's like a level down. Here we go. We'll move the left leg after that little soliloquy. Exhale, left leg out to the left, toes stay down. Bring it back through center, knee bends, and we internally rotate. Left knee maybe taps somewhere on the right leg and extend it back. Left knee or left leg left. Back to neutral, bend the knee and internal rotation with that hip. Extend it back out. Last time, left leg goes left. Keep a lift in the front ribs. Back to neutral, bend the knee, internal rotation. Extend that leg out. And step the foot next to the right. Let's just take a waterfall here. Let the torso fall. Big inhale. Exhale, let it go. And we'll inhale, rise, Tadasana. Just moving through a couple of sun styles today. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Step back for plank. Lower the knees or lower halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk those feet in a bit. Feel anchoring into the hands. Exhale, bend the knees. And walk your way forward. Exhale at the top. Inhale, rise, Tadasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Step it back for plank. Lower the knees or lower halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, down dog. And we'll pause there. We'll lift the left leg up, three-legged down dog. Bend the knee and circle the hip twice, going in one direction. And then switch directions, going the opposite way. Pause, extend that left leg long. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Weight into these feet, we rise, crescent lunge. Inhale, arms lift. Slight bend in that right knee to lengthen the tailbone. Hands behind the head. Move that skull back into the hands. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist left. We'll extend our arms from there, keeping in our twist. And then left hand comes behind the pelvis, right arm reaches up, getting some extra extension in this exalted warrior position. Well, it's an exalted crescent, but big inhale. Exhale, open to the right, right heel grounds, warrior two. Bending into this left knee and hip. And exhale, reverse your warrior, left arm comes over the ear. Moving a bit here, inhale through center, right hand plants under right shoulder, moving towards a side plank. So you can come to the outer edge of the right foot, stacking the left on top, or lower the right knee for a modified. We'll all step the left foot forward towards the top of the mat, weight into these feet, inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, twisting, left arm reaches back, right arm forward. Open to the right, warrior two. Anchor that pelvis as you exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale through center, windmill, right hand lands, modified or side plank. Left foot steps forward, anchor into the feet. Lift from the core, rise to crescent. Exhale, twist left, left arm back, right arm forward. This is different this time. We windmill all the way to the back of the mat, weight into this right foot, shifting forward, airplane. Hinging at the right hip, that left leg will lift. Option here to add tiny little pulses for this left leg, not letting the pelvis move at all. We're just moving from the left glute. Draw the shoulder blades towards the spine. Ribs stay lifted, that front of the rib cage. And exhale, press into the right foot. Rise, left knee comes to stork. So that left thigh is coming up. We use the front hip flexors to pull the left thigh up towards us more. And then exhale, option, standing twist. Right hand comes to the knee, left arm back. Or we twist, I want to reframe how I say that. We twist to the left, the arm moves wherever that is. So you're not necessarily going to be arm towards the front of the mat. That's not the point, you know? Pause here. Feeling this lift in the left hip, that flexion. Switch hands. So the left hand comes to the front of the left knee. And we press into the right foot as we open the left hip out to the left. Precursor here to our reframing of bird of paradise. And the right hand comes behind the sacrum. Scoot this left knee behind the right leg, seated twist. So left fingers come to the floor, left knee bends underneath you and we sit back. Let's just roll the shoulders here, returning to that earlier practice. And we'll unwind to the left, going all the way back to a down dog. Hands plant at the top of the mat, left foot steps back for our down dog. We'll go to the other side here. Right leg extends back, three-legged down dog. Bend that knee and we do 2 circles, moving in one direction, keeping that pelvis neutral. And then reverse your direction. 2 circles the opposite way. Extend the right leg long. Exhale, step the right foot forward, ground into those feet, feel the core lift and lift you up to crescent lunge. Slight bend in that left knee here, lengthen the tailbone. Hands come behind the head, move the skull back into the hands. And keeping the hands here, exhale, twisting right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twisting right, pelvis stays neutral. Back to center. Exhale, twisting right. Pause there, keep that left hip where it is, and we extend the arms from here. Right arm back, left arm forward. Big inhale here. Option, exhale. Right hand comes behind the pelvis, left arm reaches up. Almost like your rib cage was pulling out of your hips, your pelvis rather. Big inhale. Exhale, head to warrior two. We open to the left. Left heel grounds. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior, right arm over the ear. Inhale through center. Heading to our side plank. Left hand plants, modified or come to side plank. Both are great options. Right foot steps forward. Anchor into these feet, core lifts you up, crescent. Exhale, twisting right, left arm forward, right arm back. And windmill, open it up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Right arm over, inhale, windmill. Left hand plants, your version of side plank. Either that left shin down or up. Right foot steps forward. Anchor into the feet. Rise for crescent. Exhale, twisting right. This is the last time. Left arm is forward, right arm is back. That pelvis is beautifully neutral here. And we windmill back of the mat. Shift into the left foot. Whoa. Airplane. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to reset. This is a practice for a reason, right? Feel that pelvis nice and anchored, and we pulse. 2, 3 with that right leg. Nothing else moves, just the glute is the motor there. Quiet that pulse. We'll press into the left foot, lifting up, stork pose. That right knee comes towards you. And then using right hip flexors, pull the thigh towards the chest more. Then exhale, twist to the right. Left hand catches the right knee. We twist open through the rib cage over to the right side. And that right arm just expresses it here. Big inhale. And exhale, turn back to the front. We'll switch hands. Right hand comes to the front. We pull the knee in even more, or thigh towards you even more. You don't have to look like me, like honor where your body's at. And then we open external rotation, right hip out to the right side. Feel the left glute have to anchor even more. And then the left hand comes behind the pelvis. Exhale, scoot the right knee behind the left leg. Sitting down into our seated twist. And we roll. Feeling some tightness or gunk moving out of our upper body in particular in this moment. And we'll unwind to the front of the mat, turning to the right, leaning into that right leg as you go. We step the left foot forward. Exhale, hinge at those hips, let your torso fall again. Breathing, let the head go, like the top of the head was dripping into the floor. And we'll move from here into our stream where we put those two sequences together. So inhale, lengthen through the spine. We'll rise to Tadasana. Exhale, hands in prayer at heart center. Anjali Mudra. Taking a moment to collect ourselves. And then playing a bit more with the range that we've opened up. So inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. We step the right foot back, keep the knee lifted this time, and we reach the arms back by the hips, torso floats up. We move towards that tilted crescent. Hands clasp at the sacrum, feel the sense of evenness in the pelvis here. Just pausing here in this stable position. And then exhale, right hand comes under the shoulder, keeping a neutral pelvis, open a twist to the left. That left arm can fly as an expression of the twist here. Right glute stays on. And then we'll turn to the right. New thing here, side lunges. Feet are parallel to the side of the mat, and we bend into right knee and hip. Alternating side to side. We normally do these earlier in class, so it's kind of fun to feel how open they feel when you touch them towards the end. Touch them meaning go into a side lunge. We'll all pause, bending into the left knee and hip, and then weight into your hands right under the shoulders. Step the right knee under the hip. Left foot goes out. We're in our half kneel warrior variation from before. Left forearm to thigh. Reach the right arm over. Big inhale through center. And we'll actually windmill to the back of the mat this time. So hands plant, heading to plank. Pause at the top there. Right knee pulls towards the right arm. Step the leg back, lower those knees lower to the floor. Inhale, locust, arms and legs fly. Exhale, hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes, lift back to your plank. Left knee comes in, step it back, knees lower, lower to the floor. Inhale, locust. Exhale, hands plant, toes tuck. Plank, just 2 more. Right knee in. I like this version better. Lower those knees, lower to the floor. Inhale, locust. Exhale, toes tuck, lift into plank. Last time here. Left knee in, knees lower, lower to the floor. Last time, locust, turn your glutes on. Exhale, hands plant, tuck the toes. Come into down dog. Walk those feet in a touch. Big inhale. And let it go. Left leg lifts here. Step the left foot forward, crescent lunge. Rise up. Exhale, twisting over to the left. Right arm is forward, left arm back. So we're facing the back of the mat this time. Opening up to the right, so that right heel anchors. Warrior 2, reverse it. Left arm over the ear. And windmill, right hand lands. Side plank. Option to make this a dancer's table. You can fly the left foot just behind you and press into that right hand more. Left foot steps forward. Ground and lift. Crescent lunge. Exhale, twisting left. Right arm forward, left arm back. We open warrior 2. Reverse it. Inhale. Side plank or dancer's table. You can still do modified as well. Yogi's choice. And then the left foot steps forward. Ground the right toes. Rise for your crescent lunge. Big inhale. We'll windmill to the front of the mat. Weight into this right leg, airplane. Shift and lift. Right leg is up. Pausing there. And then weight into this right foot, left knee lifts. Our little bird of paradise play, we're redefining it, remember. So we lift that left thigh towards us. Options here, you can bring the left hand to the left knee. Use it to guide that left leg out. And then wrap the right arm behind the sacrum. We're keeping a neutral pelvis, tons of strength in this right leg. Maybe you want to twist a little towards your open side. So moving the ribs over to the right. Next option would be to grab underneath the left thigh. So holding at the hamstring. Final option would be to try to extend the left knee. So that leg will extend long, but we don't compromise in the right hip. So nothing else moves when we do that. Whatever you've got going on will come back to neutral, more of a stork. Scoot the left knee underneath a seated twist. Last moment here, we sit down facing the right side. And one more time, just roll it out. Redefining some things that don't work for us, even if it's moving against some of the norms we're faced with. It can be powerful, it's empowering. From here, we're just gonna step to the front. We unwind, hands move to the left, step the left foot forward, bend those knees and hips. Inhale, rise, Tadasana. Other side here, exhale, hinge at the hips. That right glute is feeling it. Hands plant, we step the left foot back. Keep that knee lifted. Press into the feet, feel the lift through the core as the torso lifts on the diagonal. Hands clasp at the sacrum. Pull the front ribs into the back body. Pull the low belly into the back. It's gonna protect the low back there. One more breath. Exhale, and left hand comes under the shoulder, opening for a twist Right rib cage reaches over to the right or up towards the ceiling. Left glute stays on. Turning to the left, heading to side lunges. Bending into left knee and hip. Taking this in your time at a pace that works for you. And the next thing that's coming, though we're not there yet, is going to be that half kneel warrior variation stretch. So just to give you that image first. We'll bend into the right knee and hip, hands plant under the shoulders. Scoot that left knee under the left hip and the right hip opens out to the right. Here we go. Right forearm to right thigh, left arm over the ear. Feeling the stretch here. Might feel a little less extreme, but that means we've opened some stuff. Keep squeezing that left glute. And then we'll windmill to the back of the mat. Plank series here. Left foot steps back. Here we go. Left knee forward. Step it back. Knees lower. Lower to the floor. Inhale, locust. Arms fly. Legs fly. Exhale, hands plant, toes tuck. Lift into plank. You can do your knees. Remember, right knee in. Step it back. Knees lower. Lower to the floor. Inhale, locust. Exhale, hands plant, toes tuck. Just two more. Left knee forward. Step it back. Knees down and lower. Inhale, locust. Exhale, tuck those toes, plank last time. Right knee up. Step it back, knees lower. Lower to the floor. Take a second. We can just recover for a moment. Letting that carbon dioxide out, take a big exhale. And we'll take a brief locust here. Inhale, reach those arms back, legs fly, anchor the pubic bone. And we'll exhale, hands plant, toes tuck, down dog. Walking those feet in a touch. Right leg lifts here, three-legged down dog. And we step the right foot forward, crescent lunge. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist right. That right arm goes back, left arm forward. Inhale, open it up. Warrior two, that right leg's bent. Reverse, right arm over the ear. Inhale through center. Windmill down, left hand plants. Your side plank. Optional dancer's table can be added here. Scooting the right foot behind. Step the right foot forward. Round into it, crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, add your twist to the right. Unwind, warrior two, right knees bend, and reverse. Right arm over the ear. Windmill, left hand meets the mat, right under the shoulder. Your side plank. Last time here, right foot steps forward. We rise, crescent lunge. Big inhale. Immediately turning left towards the front of the mat, shifting the weight forward, airplane. Feeling that left leg holding you up. Exhale, press through that foot, right knee lifts, stork. And then our moment of experimentation with bird of paradise, do what feels good. So options here, grab the right knee with the right arm. Use the hip flexors, but you can use the arm too, pulling that thigh towards you. Open the right hip out to the right. External rotation, extra grounding in this left leg right now. The left hand can come behind the pelvis. Little open chest, internal rotation. Option to exhale, turn to the left a bit with the ribs. Pelvis doesn't move. Final option here is to grab under the right thigh with the right leg. Maybe you want to practice extending the right leg out Well, that's a lot. I don't like that so much. And then exhale, we're heading to seated twist. Final thing here. Right fingers to the ground, turn to the left, sitting on the pelvis there. And we roll the shoulders. You can also try rolling the rib cage here. So making a big circle with the ribs, moving back in space, getting some nice fizzly cracks going, making sure if you're doing that you go in both directions. And then whatever you've got going, we're just gonna unwind and turn ourselves so our feet face the front of the mat, and then roll our way onto our back. You can pull the knees with you as you go, and just briefly let those knees, almost like your knees were stacking right above your sacrum. You can kind of feel them give an extra weight to the back of the pelvis. And then you can circle the knees in one direction if that feels okay, moving around the back of the pelvis. And then you can head in the other direction. Continuing to try to lengthen the back of the neck to get that base of the skull onto the mat. And then one final thing here, we'll extend the legs long, so they extend from the hips here, like almost like we were heading into a Shavasana. We'll roll onto the right side, bring that right arm overhead so we're laying the side of our head on it. And then turn the glutes on to lengthen the tailbone towards the heels. You'll slide the left foot behind you, almost like it was kind of a variation of dancer's table, and really press through the left hip by squeezing that glute. You can even put your hand at the front of the hip. We did a ton of hip flexion today, so just want to give a moment of a little extra opening here. We'll extend. You can bring the left hand in front of you for balance. Extend that left leg long, and we'll do that on the other side. So we roll over our backs, moving on to our right side. That left arm reaches overhead. Glutes turn on, lengthen the tailbone towards the heels, and then slide in a slight external rotation, the right toes towards the floor, and then press even more with the right glute into that pelvic point. Getting some extra opening. And you can play with what angle feels good for you, where you want the foot. And then we'll bring the right hand in front of us for balance, extend the right leg long again, and just finally roll onto your back, settling into a position for our Shavasana here. Taking a big inhale and exhale, letting that go. Letting yourself fall into the floor, fall into this moment of quiet. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana longer today, go ahead and pause the video or mute your computer and stay as long as you'd like. If you're ready to move, start to become more aware of your breath. Maybe extending your inhales and exhales. And then gently bringing the hands behind the head, right to the base of the skull where we started class with that tapping. And just gently brush up the back of the head with flat palms. So it's like you're pulling a little gently, giving a little more traction to the back of the head. And slowly, softly let your head fall back towards the floor. Draw one knee in towards you and then the other, something we've done a million times this class. And keeping your eyes closed, we'll slowly make our way to a comfortable seat. Taking a moment together to just close our practice. Bringing the hands anywhere on the body that's comfortable, or maybe in prayer at heart center. Feeling all the work come throughout your structure. And remembering we have the power to redefine, reframe the things that aren't working for us. Just like we practiced today with a pose that is not my prescribed favorite, Bird in Paradise, but we work to find something that does work for us. And we can do that in so many aspects of our lives to make us feel more empowered, more fully embodied in what we're doing, and ultimately happier. So thank you so much for your presence today, for your energy. I hope everyone is safe and happy. Namaste. Thanks, you guys. I'll stick around if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'm here on Thursday as well. So have a great middle of the week. See you soon.